On Sunday, Japan marked the 78th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima by the U.S., which killed almost 140,000 people. In Niger, about 30,000 coup supporters rallied on Sunday afternoon at the General Seyni Kouché Stadium, the biggest stadium in Niamey and in all Niger. At least 28 people were killed on Sunday when an express train derailed in southern Pakistan. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Alana Emprozabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. On the occasion of the commemoration of the 198th anniversary of Bolivia's independence, President Luis Arce called for national unity and reaffirmed his commitment to the struggle for a country with social justice. National and regional authorities participated in the celebration of the independence of the Latin American nation, and the main event took place in the Legislative Assembly, where authorities remembered the independence struggle fought in the nation during 16 years. In this context, President Arce reaffirmed the national will to fight for a socially just homeland and referred to some of the achievements that the nation has attained, among them the recovery of the national economy after the COVID-19 pandemic. Bolivia achieved independence from the Spanish Empire on August 6, 1825, and was reformed as a plurinational state with a new constitution in 2009.
I want to begin this message by reaffirming with great patriotic conviction our unwavering determination, commitment, and perseverance to never stop fighting for a homeland with social justice. 198 years ago, Bolivia burst into the concert of free, sovereign, and independent nations, an act preceded by an arduous and bloody war that for 16 years kept the colonial power in Peru in check, which was finally sealed by the extraordinary triumphs of the United Liberating Army, the famous fields of Junín and Ayacucho. Neither with Lima nor with Buenos Aires, High Peru decided to become a new independent country on that luminous day of August the 6th, 1825.
President Luis Arce assured that after 1,000 days of government, Bolivia's economic indices surpassed the levels prior to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Today, we can tell our people that our national economy has already managed to rebound in several economic and social variables from the pre-pandemic levels of 2019. And that is something we should be very proud of. For example, the average growth rate of the economy between 2021 and 2022 was 4.8% higher than the one achieved in 2019 of only 2.2%.
The Vice President of the Plurinational State of Bolivia, David Choquehuanca, also recorded the native people who defended the territory after 3 centuries of extermination and plundering.
We remember the 198 years of the War of Independence, fought for 16 years where we defeated the invaders, after 3 centuries of extermination and plundering of resources. It is a perfect moment to remember the struggle of thousands of anonymous native brothers and sisters who defended their territories in order not to be wiped off the map and not to be eliminated from the planet.
Vice President David Choquehuanca also highlighted the wisdom and courage of the native people to transcend exclusion and achieve their integration.
The native peoples of the Republic of Bolivia, being wise and courageous, have transcended exclusion and have built bonds of integration around the tricolor flag. The national anthem, the Patuju, the Cantuta, the rainbow that culminated in Huipala, with the political constitution of the state in 2009, in the struggles for the defense of the territory and for the recovering of our sea.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, while you find news in different formats, new dates, and more. Other studies coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Russia, at least one was injured and more than 20,000 people lost their gas supplied after the Ukrainian attack on a school on the bridge in northern Crimea. The educational institution was empty and the attack did not affect the structure of the bridge. However, the traffic in the area has been interrupted. The governor Vladimir Zelensky announced that the Ukrainian forces resort to state terrorism by innocently attacking civilian infrastructure and that the main intention of the regime was to attack the village school. He also pointed out that the bridge does not have much military relevance. On Sunday, Japan marked the 78th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima by the U.S., which killed almost 140,000 people. The highlight of the event was the traditional peace declaration delivered at the ceremony in the Peace Memorial Park by Hiroshima Major Kazumi Matsui. On the occasion of the Group of 7 leaders' history visit to Japan's park and his atomic bomb museum, Matsui urged policymakers to abandon the notion that nuclear weapons deter war. The group's nuclear legacy took center stage at the last G7 summit of major economies made in Japan. A moment of silence was observed at 8:15 a.m. local time, the exact time when the Iranian bomb was dropped by the U.S. bomb Enola Gay and detonated over the city on August 6, 1945, killing an estimated 140,000 people by the end of the year.
Given the reality that there are some who will use nuclear threats, leaders around the world need to face up to the fact that the theory of nuclear deterrence has failed and urgently begin to take concrete steps to move us away from the dangerous present towards our ideal world. The horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki caused by nuclear weapons must never be repeated. Japan, as the only country to have suffered nuclear war, will continue to make tireless efforts to realize a world without nuclear weapons, while adhering to the 3 non-nuclear principles.
At least 30 migrants are missing following 2 shipwrecks of the Italian island in Lampedusa. On Saturday, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, said survivors have reported that around 28 people were lost at the sea on 1 boat, while 3 were said to be missing from the second, following stormy weather on Saturday. Both Lindsay Arrow boats are believed to have set off from Sfax in Tunisia on Thursday. On Sunday, rescue teams were also preparing to pull about 20 migrants to safety after they were trapped on a rocky part of Lampedusa's coastline. The central Mediterranean crossing from North Africa to Europe is the worst deadliest. Over 1,800 people have died attempting it so far this year. According to officials, almost 900 more than last year. The government of China created a new special fund to help those affected by rains in the country's northern region. The Central Administration, the Ministry of Finance and Emergency Management of China reported that $50 million were allocated to rescue work, as well as for the recovery of affected buildings and constructions. Authorities detailed that local governments will be able to make use of the funds to face emergencies and assist families affected by Typhoon Doksuri.
Upon receiving the goods allocation instruction from the Ministry of Emergency Management, the National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration immediately issued the order to relieve supply storage warehouses under the central government, who finished the loading of the supplies onto trucks within half an hour and shipped them out of Tianjin. When these national relief materials goods reached Tianjin, grassroots officials and volunteers immediately got organized and took action swiftly to deliver them to the disaster-affected people right away.
We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit Abdido's channel on TeleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and some more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome Welcome back. In Niger, about 30,000 CUP supporters rallied on Sunday afternoon at the General Sani Council Stadium, the biggest stadium in Niamey and in all Niger. With only a few hours to go before the end of the ultimatum given to the junta of Niger by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, this stadium was filled in response to the call by several civil society organizations. Nearly 30,000 people went to support to the junta in a good atmosphere, and many Nigerian flags were waving in the stands. Several members of the Council National pour les Sauvegardes de la Patrie, the CNCP, were present and were cheered for a long time. In Senegal, deputies in the parliament have passed a vote which will effectively restore the rights of two key opposition figures to run in the country's presidential election due in February. The vote clears any person who has been convicted, but then either pardons or amnesty them to run for office. The decision allows opposition heavyweights Khalifa Sall and Karim Wade to stand. Interior Minister Antoine Felix Abdoulaye Diom explained that many of the changes in the law resulted from the national dialogue. Many observers hope Saturday's parliamentary vote will help ease the tension being experienced in the country in recent months, as opposition figures have frequently complained of move against them ahead of the presidential vote next year.
Basically, the idea was really to be able to grant amnesty to candidates such as Khalifa Sall and so many others for acts of which they have been accused. And so we salute the Republican dynamic that was felt in the room. The Bino parliamentarians, the Waldo parliamentarians, and the Taxawo parliamentarians have honored the commitments they made during this dialogue, which was initiated by the President of the Republic.
At least 28 people were killed on Sunday when an express train derailed in southern Pakistan. The royal minister said when an emergency declared a local hospital struggling to deal with dozens of injuries. Railway Minister Kaha Wassar Rafik told reporters that this is quite a big accident and that at least 1,000 passengers were aboard the Sahara Express when it derailed on a section of track where no fault had been reported. He also said that there could be two reasons: a mechanical failure or that the failure was created, which means it could be sabotage, but that they will investigate. The derailment happened near Sahara railway station close to Nawashab city in the southern Sindh province. The railway ministry announced that an emergency had been declared at a local hospital as doctors struggled to treat the injured. There were chaotic scenes at the Nawashab trauma center as ambulances and private cars ferried the injured for treatment. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's 3-year sentence for graft protests scattered rallies around the country, but there wasn't sign of any mass arising on Sundays despite his call for supporters to protest. His imprisonment has raised fresh concerns of violence ahead of an election later this year, that he is now disqualified from contesting and has cast doubt on the fairness of any votes that disclose him. His lawyers complained Sunday they were being denied access to him for consultations and they came out urgent legal challenges against his conviction. And they also raised concern for his confinement at Adon jail, established 100 years ago on the outskirts of historical Attack City, around 60 kilometers west of the capital, Islamabad. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alana Brosabal. Thank you for watching.